Hello, Ryan here, aka Mac, and welcome. Today I would like to run through all of the ships and vehicles currently in production. As always, a huge thank you to all of my patrons and channel members. Thank you so much for the support, it is truly appreciated, and if you do enjoy my videos, please do consider subscribing and helping the channel to grow. So there are quite a few ships and vehicles currently progressing through the ship pipeline. Some we know about, others are yet to be announced. So today I would like to run through all of these to keep us all up to date. Now, knowing when any of these are expected to release is pretty much guesswork unless they have been stated otherwise, but there are many events on the way like the Ship Showdown next week and the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo and Anniversary Sale in November, as well as CitizenCon in October, and of course the release of Alpha 320 and a potential 320.X at some point, all of which could be intended release windows for some of these vehicles, known and unknown. But with that said, let us start with the Crusader Spirit A1, which is the medium bomber variant of the Spirit range. Now, we know this ship is slated to release in a 320.X patch, which is yet to be placed on the release viewer, so we are not entirely sure when that patch will come along, as of course 320 has to release first. But the ship has now progressed through final art with just a handful of leveler details remaining for its interior and exterior damage. Its sibling, the C1, which is the medium cargo variant capable of hauling 48 SEU, is currently progressing through Greybox with most of its core forms refined. So the C1 is slightly behind the A1 in terms of progression, but we don't have a release window for the C1 at this time. Next we have the Tumbril Storm, which is the single occupant light scout tank. This vehicle is now approaching the end of its development, with all of the damage meshes, UV2s and LODs, or level of details, done, and the teams are now just polishing up various parts. It is also getting a second lighting pass to make most of the lights procedural, it says, so they respond to players' interactions. Now, I'm not entirely sure what this will mean, outside of maybe if you step on the brakes, the brake lights will come on. Do put your thoughts in the comments below as to what you think this could relate to. But the Storm does look like it could drop at any moment, even as early as 320, which is not confirmed of course, but I do think it's possible, and hopefully if it does, it will be an option in the Tank Royale battle for Arena Commander. Now, the Apoa Santokyai is the next ship in production. This is the Xi'an manufactured medium fighter, with the team just filling out its item housing and doing some heavy paneling work on its exterior. They also came up with the solution for the dashboard, which, if you do recall, was the reason it failed its grey box review gate. The dash still requires a little polish, but they say it will deliver a unique aesthetic for interaction. Right now, the team are working with system design to get the ship's behaviours to trigger correctly, and if I recall correctly, they are doing something special with this ship, utilising some tech called Blend Space, which should give it quite a unique and unusual movement style. No dates given on when this will come along. Could be this year, but I think they may have mentioned it might be next year, although these things do chop and change all the time. And then we have the Origin X1, which was a nice surprise to read about. This is Origin's entry to the hoverbike scene, and it is a sleek, clean machine that will fit very nicely in the already interesting lineup of hoverbikes. Now, the X1 has just entered the grey box stage, with the team solving various aesthetic issues, while ensuring that the overall ship makes mechanical sense. They are also exploring new tools to help generate extremely clean automotive-style geometry, that's a mouthful, just to maintain that required Origin feel. So it does sound like this is going to be something very special, a bit too clean for me. I do prefer my dirty Dragonfly, definitely feel like there should be a smell of oil somewhere around the Dragonfly, but a stark contrast to the X1, offering a brand new option. Now, the final known ship currently in production is the RSI Polaris. Now, this is the Corvette-class patrol ship from Robert Space Industries, which has just begun its white box pass, with them doing a thorough breakdown of the content required for this ship. Now, the team have imported the new concept mesh and completed a basic entity setup, with a rough interior white box pass also completed, which resolved many of the previous issues. Now, the Polaris is not coming anytime soon, although it is likely to be next year. However, what they are doing with the Polaris is using it to fully establish the RSI design and style guide, and once the Polaris is done, they will then take all of those reusable assets and apply them to the RSI Perseus, which is a frigate, building out any bespoke rooms and assets for that ship, and then take all of those assets and do the same to build out the RSI Galaxy, which is a modular multi-role vessel. Now this is a long-term plan which will take likely multiple years. They did say it currently takes around 1 year to make a ship of this size. However, what they learn and create from the previous ships will certainly speed that process up as they go, which means it shouldn't technically take 3 years to bring these 3 ships out. It will reduce the time somewhat, but it means that they can get these out in a more reasonable time frame rather than working on individual ships and taking a year plus for each of them. They are also looking to hire and train new developers, so hopefully that time frame will reduce there for that reason as well. Now that was all of the currently known ships and vehicles that are in production. There are also 6 or more other ships and vehicles in various stages of development that are yet to be announced or even revealed. First up, we have 2 new variants that have just gone through the LOD 0 phase and are approaching content complete. Now these, I think, are the 2 new cutter variants that have been leaked, one being the Expedition variant with a suit locker, table and chair and reduced cargo bay, likely allowing for a much longer duration flight, and the other is the Scout variant, which has a deployable radar dish to allow for, I assume, long-range scanning or more detailed scanning. And talking of scanning and the radars, they have been making some pretty significant progress with that system, which I will talk about in the monthly reports soon. Now, no idea when any of these cutter variants will release. They do look very nice. I think people are going to like them, and I expect it'll come along with one of the events throughout the end of this year. There is also an all-new vehicle in production, with the team breaking apart the concept and putting together an in-game preview while planning out the work required for the base and its variants, with the current plan, they say, being to whitebox all of the variants at the same time and then select which versions to move into greybox first. So this is quite interesting. Plus they are referring to these as vehicles rather than ships, which could be something or nothing. However, they did refer to another unannounced vehicle as a ship specifically. So my bet here is that this is a new vehicle, a new ground vehicle that will have multiple variants. And personally, I'm really hoping to one day see a salvaging ground vehicle, one for hauling larger amounts of cargo like a truck or flatbed, and even a caravan would be great. Hopefully it is one of those, or maybe a couple of those, but we will see. There also appears to be 2 new other variants in the works. I'm not sure if these are referring to variants of the same ship, or 2 variants of different ships. Either way, 1 new ship variant progressed with the dashboard and cockpit receiving attention. The design team also resolved the placement of physicalized components, ready for the art team to add them at a later date. But it also says another unannounced variant continued through its greybox. So to me it does sound like there are 2 new variants from different ships on their way, but I don't know that for certain. And then finally we have another yet to be announced ship continuing through its LOD 0 pass, with the majority of its tasks now completed and a review is scheduled. The team are currently focused on adding tertiary detail to its interior and exterior, as well as finishing the lighting for each phase. And this is one that is most likely going to be flight ready, which means we will likely see this sooner rather than later. But there you go, that is currently all of the ships and vehicles making progress right now. 6 are known, 6 or more are unknown if you include the variants. No idea, as I say, when all of these are coming along, but it is quite exciting to see what is happening. As mentioned, there are many events happening throughout the year, so I am sure that many of them will be revealed at these events. But with that said, if you do appreciate my videos, please do consider subscribing and helping the channel to grow. Come and hang out over at twitch.tv/supermacbrother. You are all more than welcome over there. Hit the thumbs up if you don't mind, it does the channel a big favour, and tick that notification bell if you would like to be notified when my videos go live. Again, a huge thank you to my patrons and channel members. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.